Hey everyone, just so you know, the following video is a clip from a show I actually do on AFTV. The full link for the video is in the description below. Thank you for your continued support, really appreciate it.
Now, if we sell Partey and Xhaka in the next coming weeks, that's when I'm going to have a bit of a problem with it all and the landscape of things going into next year. Maybe that's where we move on to next because, it's the midfield situation. Xhaka apparently agreed, a fee agreed with Bayer Leverkusen increased 21.5 million. So I guess credit to Edu there as well for getting a higher price. But with the Partey links as well, I just can't help but feel right now it's 2 steps forward. But if we lose Xhaka and Partey, that's potentially 3 steps back. It could be 2 steps back. But what we needed to do this summer is take the steps forward without taking any back. And I'm just weary about the Partey and Xhaka stuff and just hoping that we keep one of them. Ideally, it would have been Partey for me, but at this moment in time, I don't care which one it is. I think we need to keep one, James.
I'm so with you because, look, I understand that opportunities come up in a market. Maybe they never thought they could get, near 40 million or whatever has been quoted for Partey and 22 million for Xhaka. I think we'd have all agreed going into the window that if those fees and those offers came in, that we'd all pay attention to them. But look how long it took for Thomas Partey to get fully comfortable in that number 6 role. It's not that easy. Even Rodri didn't even start the Champions League final because, he wasn't a complete shoo-in in that Man City team. And, it took him a year to fully get to his best in that 6th role, the way, Pep and Arteta, use it. I'm not sure. And you asked about the new era stuff as well. And, I said, yeah, I think it is. I do believe it is. I'm very optimistic it is. But can you lose kind of the two midfielders that are your core? Odegaard is the main guy, but I'm saying at your core, at the base of it all, can you lose those 2 senior players, experienced players, and maybe replace them with like better players? But do they just hit the ground running? Does it all just run like clockwork again? I'm not sure it does.
And it's better as well, James. I mean, you can replace like for like or upgrade, but part of the problem last season was the players coming in for them when called upon wasn't of the necessary quality.
I agree, and I think Arsenal are looking for one more midfielder, even without losing both. Like, I think, say Xhaka goes, which looks like he is, and Partey staying, I think they're still looking at one more midfielder because these Lavia links don't go away or whatever. Then I have questions over the balance of the midfield. What, so Partey, Lavia, Jorginho, that's 2 6s to me. And what is Havertz going to be an 8? I still struggle to see that. So I think there's still a lot of questions about midfield. So look, I'm really excited about next season. I can't wait to see how Havertz is used. I'm just really intrigued by that. I love the Rice signing. I'm really excited about the Timber one as well. And in a bit, we're going to talk about fullbacks as well, because that sparked a whole new discussion. Yeah. But I can't say I fully see the vision in terms of how this team looks next season. And that does put the handbrake on a little bit for me when it comes to sort of being ultra excited about our chances of winning major silverware next year. Now, if you tell me, well, one of Partey or Xhaka stays, then we had another midfielder, I'm thinking, okay, cool. The midfield then's looking really bolstered and nice next season. But if both leave, I'm slightly hesitant. Yeah.
Lee?
Two things on Thomas Partey, one, does he want to stay, or does he want to get a bigger contract? Because I think things like that have got to be said. Also, this is a player that's got 2 years left of his contract. We've been saying over the I can't let players go into 1 year left of their contracts and things like that. So you have to look at it from the business side.
Good point.
From the playing side, I think he's a fantastic player. I've got to say, I'm a massive fan of Thomas Partey when he is 100% fit. But when is he 100% fit? Not all the time. Now, this is a player I think that can play once a week and he'd be fantastic. But does that disrupt things going forward? When you're playing in 1 week and 1 week not, and a player that wants to play week in, week out. I think towards the end of last season, guys, I don't think he was 100% fit. And that's why his performances dropped a little bit. Like, this is a player that can't keep himself fit. But if I had the choice, I would 100% keep him, for the next year, 2 years, and let his contract run out. But there is that business side of it now where we have to sort of look to get him money. Now, if we can get big money for Partey, this is where people go, oh, we don't want to lose Thomas Partey and everything like that. If you can get big money for Thomas Partey, and I mean big money, or get back what you had from him over the last 4 years or whatever, and then bring in a younger player that can play 2 games a week and all that, I don't think it's a bad thing. And when people turn around and go, oh, like, you know, Thomas Partey's great, and you know, like as soon as someone else comes along, it's like we move on. You don't move on. It's just that is football. Football evolves. You know what I mean? Players get to a certain standard and then they drop. It's the way it is, and you have to be a little bit ruthless in football. You don't think Pep's not been ruthless to certain players? Mourinho in his day and all the top teams, you know, there comes a time. I remember when Patrick Vieira left Arsenal, 29 years of age, I was fuming. Never quite hit the heights anywhere else, did he? You know what I mean? And sometimes you've got to be a little bit ruthless, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, that's how I feel about it. I'm a big Thomas Partey fan. Would I want to keep him? Yeah. But if a younger player comes along, then, you know, we move.
Let's flirt with the Tchouaméni idea. Look, I don't believe there's a lot in it, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that a player that wasn't starting week in, week out for Real Madrid last year, after they spent 100 million on Bellingham, maybe becomes available. I mean, that is a player who's a great age. Was he 23, 24? Starts for France, got to the World Cup final, been playing for Real Madrid. Is Xhaka and Partey out, and then Tchouaméni, Rice, Havertz in? Is that an improvement in our midfield going into next
100%. 100%.
Quality wise, yeah. But then the worry is, James, is the same worry from last season and the season before. Is where does the experience come into it? I know there's been a whole heap of noise about sell-on values and all of this stuff, but there's a certain type of player you buy, and if it's in their late 20s or coming up to their late 20s, I don't think you're buying them for sell-on value. We bought Partey for what, 50 million when he was 27 years of age. That's not a player I looked at coming in as, yes, we can sell him for a good fee in 4 or 5 years. That's a player that I thought would come in, potentially see out his contract, maybe get a couple of years extension, depending on the way situations are going, and he can help guide as well. If we lose Partey, Xhaka, and I hope Rob Holding goes as well, who is the oldest player in our squad?
Oh, I agree.
Jorginho?
Jorginho's one that's going to come in here.
He's got experience.
He's got experience, though, Turkish. He knows what it's like to win games. Sometimes it's not about what you do on the pitch as well. Of course it is, but it's also what you do off the pitch, how you train, how you go about things and everything like that when the pressure's on. Look, when I look at Jorginho, I don't know how people feel about it, but my perspective in changed when we was at Newcastle under the Kosh. He was the player that said, yeah, we've got to enjoy this, and I think that's a good thing for young players to look on and go, wow, look at that, you know what I mean, like not to be afraid in places like this, let's go and enjoy it. So I think things like that. I would like, if we kept the midfield that we've got now, I think it'd be fantastic. Xhaka,
I agree,
and Partey with what we've got now. That is an exciting midfield.
Yeah,
For whatever reason, you know, Xhaka wants to go. I don't really get that. Why would you want to go now when this could be the time you could win titles? Maybe it's because they're not going to be looking to play week in, week out. I don't know. That you know,
I think it's the contract length. I think he wants to secure one final long contract, and Arsenal, I think, are offering
it on a
2
free
years.
though. Couldn't you do it on a free?
Yeah,
you know,
that wouldn't come for a few years, I guess. But Lee, I agree with you. If Timber, Havertz, and Rice were our only signings, and there were no outgoings, I wouldn't call it a perfect window, but I'd be very happy with that.
Yes,
you've got a new right back / centre back. You've got a new 8/forward, and then you've got an all action midfielder. I'd be really happy with that.